quietly, sometimes for days, and only focusing on your breath and controlling your physical with your mind and being with your breath the entire time.
Non-attachment is the concept that whatever shows up in my life physically, emotionally, possession-wise, I'm okay with it.
And then when you have both of them going on, you just have a perfect storm for dis-ease in the body and in the mind, in your confidence.
The traumas, the trauma in the mind is reactive in the body through inflammation. It brings out recessive illnesses, and then has you running to the doctor for things that are band-aids rather than fixes, because nobody wants to do the work these days, right? We talk about that, right? We talk about this aspect of if you get a download in meditation or an ayahuasca or whatever, however you get downloads, right? Okay, so you got it. You going to integrate now, or are you just going to say, oh, I went and I ran to this medicine ceremony? Why don't people want to do the integration? Because the burn is the blessing. You are the fire, and we are forged in fire.
Yes.
And it's a disassociation of people, places, things, behaviors, past use. And it's uncomfortable, lonely. People don't want to deal with that. So they rather run into something to code it, right? Whether that be running back to medicine ceremonies or taking an SSRI or using a pharmaceutical for weight loss that has horrific side effects, right? I'm not coming from a place of judgment. I just don't think people have the wherewithal, or tools, or are not being presented the proper options. So they really don't know.
Without a doubt. And so to your point there, as far as these pharmaceutical options, I think everybody has heard of Ozempic. If you haven't, you're going to. And so now doctors, from what I've read, doctors are being encouraged to prescribe Ozempic to kids as young as 10 years old. When six? Oh my God, when they're obese. Now, a lot of the people watching this, you may be in India or one of the other countries in the world. If you didn't know this, the United States, our food supply is by far and away the most poisonous in the world. So we have well over 1,000 chemicals that are not allowed in Europe at all. You cannot put them in food there. Why? Because they're endocrine disruptors and they've not been tested on people. They're just allowed to be put in our food. So what that is doing is it is creating the nation that is the greatest nation in the world. It's also the fattest nation in the world. And so we're going to be seeing some changes in our government, hopefully along those lines, as far as making our food healthier and safer again. That said, the Ozempic, where it is from, I believe it's Sweden is where it's from. The doctors there don't want to prescribe it. Instead, what they do is they prescribe proper diet and exercise. So the thing is,
what a shock.
I know that they're sending it all over here. No problem. But I've had several friends go on Ozempic. They lost a lot of weight and then they had stomach paralysis. So,
well, what about stomach paralysis? It inhibits, because it's in your stomach. It inhibits your dopamine and serotonin production. So they're finding depression within and other things. Like, I'm not a doctor, man. I mean, about last year, I read Dr. Casey Means' books, which goes into good energy. And obviously, her and her brother have been all over the news as of lately, which talks about this stuff. But, they talk about how we spend the most on healthcare out of, one of the countries that spends the most in the world, and we're the least healthy. I mean, clearly it's not being done right? It doesn't take a genius to see this, but there's seven companies that control the food source.
Right. And what's interesting, and Casey and Callie Means, they're just revolutionizing people's outlook on these things, along with Robert F. Kennedy Jr. and other people as well. Like Dr. Zach Bush is another one. And the thing is that just a very quick aside, is that in the 1980s, when the United States Congress made R.J. Reynolds and the other tobacco companies admit that smoking causes emphysema, it causes lung cancer, well, those tobacco companies then started buying up all the food companies
and they found ways to make the food addictive the same way they made the tobacco addictive.
Absolutely. So if you look at a picture of, say, any beach in the United States back in the 1970s, there were no obese people. And then now you cannot maybe find a couple people that actually look like they're a healthy weight. And it's actually not people's fault that they don't know what's in their food supply. Even health foods, some of them, like the organic fruit, if they've been treated with a peel Well, they could have been grown
Correct.
organically, but a peel is going to screw up your system so it can be organic and you think you're eating healthy, and actually you're just continuing to poison yourself. So that's an interesting thing also with the PSSM global community. It is based upon plant-based living and eating organic, eating healthy foods. And so it's nice to see an organization for meditation, but it's not just meditation, it's actual overall healthfulness. And then using the scalar energy of pyramids in order to supercharge the cells. And so I'm really interested, Isaiah, in what's going to happen when people are using higher frequencies, your product, and what we can do with this amazing thing that you're planning. I want to hear more about that as far as the resort and the just life change spa that you're creating in Las Vegas, what we could do to bring in future tech like the pyramid scalar energy to that.
Amazing. Thank you for that. Yeah, so I started having this thought process when I was working in the regenerative medicine space in Colombia and really getting to experience, healthy eating, healthy living. And I was really thinking, well, what is the next phase of wellness travel? And how do you provide it where people at all socioeconomic levels can partake? And it brought me back to Vegas. And currently in Las Vegas, obviously, Vegas is known for a lot of things, but right now it's the sports and entertainment capital of the world. And there's a spiritual revolution going on here, as well as, if you ride out to Red Rocks, it's a very spiritual
Oh,
place.
yes.
The mountains there, it's God's country. And so I started thinking about, I got pulled into a number of conversations about, well, because when I was thinking about Colombia, a lot of people were saying, well, Isaiah, there's 20 million people in California, there's 2 million in Vegas. They need 48 hours to be able to get their health together. And obviously, people like John Mackey are creating, former Whole Foods founder, created Love.Life, which is sort of like Equinox meets Canyon Ranch, which Canyon Ranch is a global spa company and resort company. So I started toying with this idea of, well, what if we created an integrated resort here that the main pillars were music and wellness, and really brought those concepts and top to bottom sustainability and regeneration, right? So meaning that the top of the resort had the farming going on for the restaurants rather than wafting smells into the resort. Let's build botanical walls that align your frequencies. Let's look at the color profiles as people are walking through to evoke different chakras and moods. And obviously, let's be very careful about the music and the frequencies that we're playing on given certain things and days. And look, I know people are going to say you're still going to have gaming. Yeah, I'm still going to have gaming and it's still going to be a casino. But the idea is here, because Las Vegas is the showcase for things to go global, is if we can build this here, then we can use it as a pillar to build these experiences, both from a resort perspective and a residency perspective. And the pillars of music then also extend to proper programming every weekend with the right acts that promote, the right energies. And then lastly, with respects to really taking the focal point on the wellness, obviously breath work, sound, and really having a 50,000 square foot. So where Vegas entities focus on clubs and nightlife and dining, we really want the focus to be the wellness aspect of the resort, meaning this 50,000 square foot facility where people can come do breath work, cold plunges. They can look at aspects of medicine 3.0, and then they can take those modalities home with them and learn from them.
Wow. And I'm just getting this amazing vision of what you're creating. And I hope that everybody else is out there as well. So I just had a hallucination, and I'm just going to throw this out there because it just popped into my mind. How amazing would it be to have a large tachyon, not tachyon, a large scalar pyramid that is maybe, 15 feet by 15 feet by 15 feet with a meditation cushion and a cold plunge right there. And you could do all of it right inside the pyramid. I would be,
I think
I'd be game for
I
that.
think it's Vegas, and I think we can go bigger than that
I was like,
actually with the
well,
50. Yeah,
they do have the Luxor.
yeah,
That's a pretty
yeah,
amazing big pyramid as
yeah.
well. But that's definitely something. Let's communicate more about that, Isaiah, to bring
Please.
the pyramid technology and the sacred geometry. That is also something that does dial in different frequencies. And as we know, I mean, math is the language of God, as they say. And when you look at like the Platonic solids, or you look at the, say, Metatron's cube, you look at the flower of life, these things have been in use for thousands of years in many different cultures, especially the flower of life. that the frequency I'm just seeing and feeling into this, that if you have, say, these certain frequencies, which say Dr. Jeff Thompson's say scientific sounds, which are the most amazing binaural beats, but he also doesn't have to just do the things with the headphones. He can do them for entire spaces that aligns your nervous system to true homeostasis, not fight or flight and not rest and digest. Those both require a lot of energy, but actually having your nervous system be completely balanced. So in there with that, I mean, wow, there are so many cool things that are going to happen with that, Isaiah. So let's go ahead and let's let people know how, first of all, they can find out more about what you're doing.
Sure, they can reach out to me personally on LinkedIn, Isaiah Orlen. I do respond to everything there. From a brand perspective, as you said, it's higherfrequencies.com. It will take you to the YouTube page where we have some podcasts up, some information. And then we put Instagram posts up just about every day at HF Tribes, Tribes. And we try to make it thematic over the week, with regards to whether it's non-attachment, letting go, surrender, whatever the modality of healing we're leaning into. And higher frequencies will also be, we're just in the process now. We've done all the actual patterns, but I'm working through the fabrics right now. So we're looking at the fabrics twofold: for the clothing, sustainability and regenerative, so hemp and bamboo, but then also weaving silver and copper into the fabrics so that it protects you from EMF. So we're looking at sourcing right now, and hopefully within the next 6 months. The clothing you're seeing online is merely print material right now. That's just pattern stuff, but we have this whole line coming out that will be both sustainable, regenerative, EMF protection, and the goal is to provide 7 core pieces for men, 7 core pieces for women, all in the chakra color. So depending how you're feeling, you can wear that and also protect yourself from the EMF environment, and make sure that the fabric was sourced sustainably. Even the dyeing of the fabric, I have a team in India working on this right now. We're going to be using natural dyes such as turmeric, and no chemical dyes in the process.
That's amazing. And, to that point, I was reading something the other day, and it was saying, actually, no, I heard it, that the air quality in an average house in America is about 4 to 5 times the amount of pollution as outside is, because we have so many artificial fragrances and dyes, think like whatever they might coat your couch with that you sit on and then rub into your skin.
Yep.
Artificial flavors, not flavors. Well, unless you eat your dryer sheets or your detergent, but those are not natural scents. And so when
No.
we are stimulated, if you've ever had a scent come along and you're like, and it took you back to a time and you had this nostalgic wave, we are very tapped in with our sense of smell, also directly into our brain. And so when you have artificial ones, it may have a connotation for you that, oh, that reminds me of grandma, or that reminds me of this time I did that. But if you're having things come in, like if you inhale cyanide gas, just because you're smelling it doesn't mean it doesn't affect you negatively. Cyanide gas is obviously going to kill you, right? And same thing goes with these artificial dyes and these things that they may smell good, and they make it so that you don't smell the whatever you just stepped in. But what is that doing to your body? The research coming out now is just shocking how much damage is being done. So when you talk about natural dyes, if you have turmeric go in, guess what? You just get an anti-inflammatory benefit that goes in through your skin, right? It'll turn you yellow if the dye is not set. But when we have these other things that are natural and coming from India, many of the essential oils are from India, and many of the spices. And I actually work for another Indian company called Arya Organic. Everything we do is 100% non-GMO, ethically sourced, and it's actually infused with the 528 hertz of love. So you actually are eating the frequency of love. So I'll connect you with them as well, see what we can do, because
Love that.
great addition to your retreat center. So Isaiah, people can reach you at higherfrequencies.com. I just followed you online at Instagram on HF Tribes, and I anticipate that you're going to have a lot of people from this go and check you out, because everything in the universe is frequency, information, vibration, and energy. All of that is synonymous, actually, the same thing. So what we can do to raise our own is everything that is available to us that is going to help us be healthier and raise our vibrations is worth having. So everybody, higherfrequencies.com, HF Tribes on Instagram, Isaiah Orlen on LinkedIn. This is definitely a company that you're going to want to follow. You're going to want to be a part of this. You're going to want to use these things. You're going to want to share them with your family and the friends and everybody that you love in your life. We have a lot of things that are stacked against us chemically and vibrationally in this world. So when we have things that can really uplift us and make our life better, it's our obligation to share that with our family. It's in our obligation as a being that wants to not just have a long lifespan, but wants to have a long health span here on the planet and learn and have these experiences and do so in a way that actually makes us better people. Yeah, things like what Isaiah is doing, absolutely crucial. So with that said, Isaiah, what's a piece of advice or encouragement you'd like to leave our viewers with?
Stay blessed, stay grateful, stay appreciative, and choose love.
No, I feel that. And I hope everybody out there, as you take a nice deep breath in, you feel all of that too. Once again, Isaiah, it's an honor and pleasure to have you on. Brother, I am so excited for what's coming in the future. And everybody out there, please make sure that you like, subscribe, share this with your friends, your family. Follow PMC Global, follow PMC English, follow Higher Frequencies, follow Integrated Ascension Method. And it's just going to be an amazing future for all of us, much more amazing than if we're ignorant and unaware. So this is all about how can we be better for ourselves, for our family, for our community, for our planet, for our own soul. I'm so blessed to be able to bring amazing guests like Isaiah to you. So stay tuned for the next one, where we're going to have another world disruptor in the field of consciousness and health. All the love and power to you, my friends. Have a great now and a great day on purpose. Hey, my friends, what an incredible journey we've shared today. If you felt even a spark of inspiration or power, don't let it stop here. Take a moment to hit that like button, subscribe to this channel, and share this with someone who needs it. Seriously, think of just one person who could benefit from what you've experienced today, because together we're building something so much bigger than ourselves. This is more than a show. It's a movement, a space where leaders, visionaries, and seekers like you come to transform, elevate, and align. So don't just follow, become a part of the community. Subscribe to the PMC YouTube channel and follow the I Am Integrated Ascension Method everywhere you can. And let's create something extraordinary together. I'm truly excited to share with you your next step to transformation. So head over to iampure.energy and sign up for my free Perfect Breath class. You'll unlock the secret to mastering your breath, your energy, and ultimately your life. And for those who are ready to go deeper, our masterclass and weekly sessions are waiting to take you to that next level. Make sure that you're here next week because, as always, I'll be sitting down with another world-changing guest, someone who will blow your mind and give you tools to rise even higher. And don't come alone. Invite your friends, your team, or anyone who is ready to grow. And let's expand this circle of impact one breath at a time. Until then, remember, your potential is limitless. Your power is real, and it all begins with a single breath. Together, we're creating the future. I'll see you next time, my friend. Together we rise. See you soon.